Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome back. A little bit snowy today, same thing yesterday. Change in weather every day seems we're either frozen or it's melting and snowing. So anyhow, show you where I'm heading on this size 14 foot in a size 7 shoe here. The worst thing I've got that's coming out of this is I'm going to end up with a whole whack of holes in the firewall that are going to need filling. Wish I'd have made this decision when I first built the car, but funds weren't there. So I've got all the old holes from the fuse panel where the heater hoses came through and the bolts for the old heater. On the inside, I've actually figured out how to get that size 14 in here. I can show you. It's in, and I have one bolt in at the top there. What I ended up, I've got about an inch clearance over on the brake booster, one more mount on the firewall side, and then there's a strap goes on the rear side. So what I'm going to end up doing down here, I have to make a new plate for my fuse panel to bolt to. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees and it's going to get bolted lower down on the firewall, and then I'm going to make a door that closes over top of it to keep people's feet from ramming into the fuses and causing me issues there. So I've got lots of cleanup to do under here. Going to be some rerouting. Had to drop the air lines off of my front airbag fittings. So I've probably got 2 weeks of screwing around just to get the AC and everything all set up. One of the good things is where the switches were for the heater, everything's the same, and I have room above for the AC, so I'm going to be able to keep the same style of switch setup. I'll just change the face plates on it there. That'll be quite a bit better. So I've got to see if I've got another piece of poly cutting board that I can use to mount my fuse panel on. They work really well. You can pick up those cutting boards at any of the dollar stores or Walmart for a couple, $3 a piece, and make really good insulators. So we'll be back once we get back at it. Morning everyone. Made her through another crazy hectic week at work. Short one guy, so I'm running bulk truck and picker truck and doing all my supervisor duties, but we made her through. Just going to show you where I'm at. I got some parts in. I'll show you the trials and tribulations of these Hemi swaps, and trying to make and find parts to do the conversion. So on the car engine, the truck engine is the same. It's just got a different layout on the front for the pulley setup. On the truck, AC and alternator are up on top. Power steering is down low. It's got different diameter pulleys, and everything sticks out a little bit different distance off the block. So because I'm not running power steering on this, this is the power steering pump. Really nice small pump. It's got a fairly big pulley on it, rib pulley, and it bolts with 3 bolts to the driver's side cylinder head. Now in 2012 or 13, in the Chrysler 300s, they switched to a electric power steering, and they made a standoff and pulley setup to delete the power steering. Problem is must have a different timing cover for those years, because the standoff is 12 millimeters too long, which puts the pulley out too far. So it looks like a really nice casting. What I did was I cut 12 millimeters out of the center and TIG welded it back together. Now the problem is the alloy is terribly dirty and I got nothing but bubbles and dirt coming up as I was welding. I'm not really happy with how it welded. It's probably strong enough, but I don't know if I'm going to trust it. It's one of those things, if this comes apart on a long trip somewhere, there's no replacement part to fix it, and then a guy's stranded. So you have to have it. You can't just eliminate it when you're running AC. If I wasn't running AC, there's a belt you can get to eliminate all of that. I don't want to do that because I'm running the AC. So what I'm probably going to do is use the pulley, and I'm going to make a steel standoff for it that I know will be strong enough and won't cause me any grief. If you're interested in this, these are the part numbers. This is the one for the idler pulley, and I believe the part number is 68459077AA. I'll put these part numbers in the comment sections down below as well. And then the bracket itself is 04593918AA. And like I say, I'll put them in down below. I'm going to work on that for a bit. Then I'm still working on the AC install. I got the evaporator mounted with 2 bolts. I have to build a standoff on the bottom. The mounting setup on the Vintage Air is a little bit hokey. It's got one bracket that bolts midway down on the front side of it, and it's about 6 inches long, and then that goes through the firewall. And what it's doing is it allows it to bounce back and forth, so it's going to have a piece of foam put between the housing and the bracket to stop it from bouncing around. And then, as you can see, I've got it all mounted in here. This bolt hole right there is supposed to have a bracket that goes up to the top. I think I'm going to make one that goes down and into my console there. I've got the wiring all removed from the cutting board, and I'm going to redo that. I've got it so that I can get everything put in place, and then I still have this little bit of room up there next to the blower motor to run my 2 AC lines through, as well as my heater core lines. So it's going to be tight, but that's the price you pay to be cool in the summertime. And when it's 35-40 degrees out there, it is hot in here. So anyhow, as we keep going here this weekend, I will keep you updated and show you the progress. So okay guys, we're back. Another update here. Got quite a bit of progress. I got the Hemi sitting in the chassis without the transmission. I had to put it in so that I can figure out the routing for all the AC lines. It's looking awesome in there. The truck intake is going to work perfectly for me. I was a little worried about that, but it's going to make the air cleaner placement way better. A little bit of adjustment to do. I don't know if the motor's sitting quite at the right angle without the transmission in, but I'll just show you the intake setup. Get the tripod here. I'll just pull the hood off. Don't have the rad positioned in here yet. Man, everything's so dusty from all the grinding. I got all the holes welded up in the firewall. That was quite the ordeal when you've got a firewall that's coated with sound deadening. It's quite fun. Okay, just take you out of the tripod here. So as you can see, I've got tons of clearance above the throttle body. So what I'm going to do is run a short silicone nipple, short piece of aluminum that I can put my air temperature sensor in, and then a K&N style filter up there. It should stay nice and dry, being right underneath the hood. I've got lots of room back here for mounting my computer. Pretty happy with how it's coming out there. I got the belt all mounted there. The heater box, I'm waiting for polyurethane to dry here. These mounts are pretty hokey on the vintage air. I'm not terribly happy with fit and finish on the plastic housing. I think they pretty much chinsed out on it. The heater that I had was from vintage air and it worked really well. It's just their fit and finish leaves a lot to be desired. The way this is set up, this bolt goes into a rivet nut in the plastic. Then it's big long bracket. So when you mount it on the firewall, it just bounces back and forth because there's no attachment up here to make it solid. This is the only solid mount on the unit, right there. So it makes it a little bit challenging to mount it so it's not going to bounce around. Some rubber fittings that I polyurethaned on top. I run a manifold into one because I only have the single defrost. So I'm going to continue on. As you can see on the firewall, I got all those holes patched up, a little bit of paint back on. The only holes left now are for the fuse panel and mounting the heater. So I can now start sorting out all the wiring and get that all figured out. And then we can put this back together for the last time. So anyhow, guys, hope you're enjoying this. Don't be afraid of these Hemi swaps. I'm not anymore. I was to begin with, but it's not as complicated as one thinks. So anyhow, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button and share it with your friends. Talk to you later.